So part two with Richard, and him and I are discussing and continuing this discussion of duct cleaning, commercial duct cleaning, residential duct cleaning. It doesn't really matter. Ducts are ducts. We get particulate in them. Sometimes it can build new construction. Who knows what's going up in that ductwork? People's lunches. Who knows? The stories are endless when it comes to new construction and what people put in the ductwork. Anyway, let's get back to Richard, guys. This is the HVAC Know-It-All podcast. I'm your host, Gary McCreadie. Top contractors across the U.S. only. This one's going to be pretty cool to expand your marketing reach. Property.com is an exclusive network for certified pros. You can get your own custom Property.com webpage for free. You can also get AI-powered reputation management and get some great lead generation and prospecting tools. The Know Before You Go tool is pretty cool. It gives critical homeowner data like how much they've paid on past jobs. Join Property.com's exclusive network now to expand your reach with homeowners across the U.S. Use McCreadie.property.com, so that's MCCREADIE, property.com, to fill out the form to get approved. You're covering all the vents. You're putting it into the system. Once it's in there for however long it takes, are you then drawing a negative in that duct to clear out any remnants of it? Like, is that what you're doing?
Exactly. Yeah. So first we kind of push it up through the ductwork, but then when we go up to each vent, we're hooked up to, say, the plenum or the main trunk line in the basement. If we're going to talk about a residential house, we turn our vacuum on slowly so that it helps pull it through each branch line, if that makes sense, the fog, right? And so that is for, I would say, like lighter smoke damage and these things. When you get into a really big fire, sometimes those really burnt sections of ductwork, they just need to be replaced. And so we'll get in and we'll make that recommendation, because sometimes you just cannot clean it. If you've ever been and seen really heavy soot in an air conditioning coil or in ductwork, it's almost impossible to remove.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to picture, because you do mainly commercial, you said, right? So I'm trying to picture, like, let's say it's a big warehouse or a 5-story tower or something like that. How are you getting, because you're obviously you have a vacuum within your truck and you got to run. How are you getting to the duct systems in buildings like this? Is there a way to do it?
Well, there's two different types of systems. You've got your truck mounted systems,
Okay.
which, have their place.
Yep.
We use these big portable HEPA vacuums,
okay. Gotcha.
and I like them because they allow you to be more dynamic. Like, we can move these things. They don't have the same type of suction necessarily, but you zone out the ductwork so that you have the right amount of suction for the section that you're cleaning. And when you're getting into this stuff anyway, like, you need to be able to see what you're cleaning. Like, you can't be cleaning, have your vacuum here and then be cleaning a section of ductwork 100 feet away without being able to look inside and make sure that it's clean. So a lot of ours is, you clean it and then you're doing these visual inspections, because clean is clean. Just like, to your point before, like, you wipe a table, the dust is gone. Well, sometimes the dust is really adhered to the inside of the ductwork on all 4 walls. And so you hit it and you clean it, but sometimes it's not all gone. So then you hook your vacuum back up, clean it again, and you clean it until it's clean.
Yeah. So it's funny because I've got 3 boys. They don't do this as much, or they don't do it really anymore. Maybe my 9-year-old does it once in a while. He likes to run down the stairs. When he gets to the 3rd step from the bottom, he's not walking, he's jumping and landing on 2 feet, right? It's like doof. And they all did it at one point or another. And there's a main trunk right underneath that section of the stairs where they jump. And I remember talking to somebody online, and I forget who it was. And they're like, and I was talking about this scenario where, yeah, there might be dust in the duct it's not going to move unless the duct is banged on or whatever. And I said, here's a scenario. My kids are jumping from the stairs onto the floor. The basement is underneath where the duct is hanging, and you can see the duct. Like, when I'm down here working, I can see the duct moving, jumping. And somebody said, well, do you have any data on this? Like, data? I'm like, go take a dusty piece of duct, okay? Take it apart, take it outside, and bang on it and see what happens. You're going to have a release. You're going to have a release of dust. So yeah, if you do have a layer of dust and it's being disturbed, then it's going to work its way into the home. I don't need data to see that, because I've seen what happens when you take something that's dirty and you whack it. you have a cloud of dust around it. So there's no data needed for that kind of stuff. So I just found it hilarious that somebody had even asked that question. Now, do you get these types of questions? Do you have people saying, well, can we have air quality data before and after? It's just a general question. I don't know if people are asking for this stuff.
Some people do. More sensitive people, like, so we're dealing with, like, some of our customers are immune compromised people, so they're, they want to make sure, and that's where they might want to have a UV light installed in their ductwork.
Yeah.
For me, I got two boys, they're 3 and 5. And so I'm worried about particulate personally. Obviously, I don't, want to be breathing in mold and things like that. But my kids are bringing back so many viruses and bacteria from school, like you can't get away from it. So for me, it's like the particulate. The way that I look at, kind of going back to your accumulation, or you've got it and you bang the ductwork. What ends up happening is you've got this airflow going through your furnace and going through all your ductwork, and the dust accumulates over years and it finds its balance. And then eventually it gets to an unacceptable level where basically you can't have any more dust in there. If you want the airflow to pass through, so any new particle of dust, it's just going to be like just a little bit agitated and pushed through the system. And so that's why you're otherwise you'd have your ductwork would just fill up completely, and then you'd have a ball of dust in there and there'd be no airflow. So there eventually becomes too much in there. After we kind of recommend cleaning your system every 3 to 5 years, and it really depends on filtration and how many people live in the house. There's so many different things, but that's a good like number, I guess, if you're living, you got a couple kids in your house, things like that. And again, it's personal preference. People, just like the person in your office who can't handle the smell of perfume, people are affected by dust differently. So we'll have like a husband who's like, I have no issues here, and the wife's like, I can't sleep, or vice versa, right? So it just I don't, it's hard to kind of explain, but yes, we do have people who want us to say do an air quality test, and then if the air quality is bad, they'll get the ducts cleaned. I look at it a little bit different. It's just like, why don't you clean the ductwork first and then see how you feel? And if you're still having issues, because a lot of them are dust related, then get an air quality test.
The duct cleaning would go hand in hand, like you said earlier, with maintaining that proper balance of indoor air quality, right? We need proper filtration in place. So if you start with a clean duct, so if everybody did everything correctly, you might not have a business, Richard. So you have a business because contractors don't do things correctly. If every system was designed right from the get-go, you would have all your return grills would be filtered with no bypass around them, right? And if you did that right and you did it correctly, you wouldn't have any dust in your HVAC system. You wouldn't have any. So luckily for you, people don't do their job right. People don't design right. People skip out on doing things the correct way because it's a race to the bottom, right? We're doing this big subdivision here, and there's 5 bids on it. How are we going to get this job? Well, we're going to bid it by throwing in this cheap ass 1-inch filter frame down at the furnace or up at the air handler, wherever it may be. But if it was designed correctly, ducts were designed right, the right filters were put in place at the return grills, like I said, with 0 bypass, you probably wouldn't have a business. So hopefully you probably will always have a business, because there's people out there that are going to skip out doing things correctly for the course of time. So what do you think about that?
I don't want to blame it on, say, the home builder or the whole situation.
I
It's
do.
really
I'm blaming it on them. So it's my words.
yeah, for
So-
sure. Right, but then the way that we see it is there's different tiers of home builders, right? So I
Yeah.
blame it on the consumer, because people want to have a cheap house, let's say.
Yeah, true.
And cheap is a
True.
bad word, but they want to pay as little as they can to have a roof over their head. So in order to do that, you've got to skip some things. Even if you look at the price of a 1-inch filter, you can get them for $10, $15. They're crappy filters, but right. Whereas you get a 4 or 5-inch filter, like a good quality one, they're $40, $50, $60, but you only change those probably every twice a year, maybe, right? They should have a longer lifespan for you, just because there's more surface area. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
The ones with the more surface area, yeah, you change them less because there's way more surface area to capture. But I mean, the consumer is not educated enough on indoor air quality. So one of the things that a builder could do is say, hey, listen, this is your HVAC system as is. This is the price. If you would like it upgraded to have better filtration, better indoor air quality, all this kind of stuff, here's another price. I mean, it's just an example of what they can do. So, but they don't. And I mean, I live in a house. I've talked about it before in this podcast. The air distribution is crap. It's designed terribly. It's just not. It's not a well-designed system. So it's cookie cutter. It's like, okay, this house, this house, this house. It's all getting the same, right? So depending whether it's brick or siding or whatever, it's the infiltration rates are different. If someone's putting in 3 more windows than the other guy and his neighbor, it's different. So it can't be cookie cutter. It's got to be defined and customized, but that costs more money. And like you said, consumers probably won't pay it, but are they given an option? I don't know. Is every builder giving an option? I wasn't when I bought my house.
No, and well, you know what the funny thing is? You're given an option for the expensive part, which is the air conditioning unit, right? Do you want this installed through the builder, or do
Yep.
you want to have? And I think that's again, it comes back to the builder. Like, we're working with some really good builders up north in, custom homes and say Port Carling and things like that in the Muskokas, and they give you every option under the sun, and you can design these systems. If you want a geo unit, or you want one large furnace, or if you want smaller ones, right? Like, instead of zoning them out, right? So, and a lot of these higher end places, they want to have great air quality. So they do have the larger filters, or even some of the more exotic, like, I don't know if the right word's electric static ones, but there's these products that company called Dynamic Air Quality makes that they have in like the world's, the largest museums. That really capture all of the dust, but they still give you the same airflow. They're called polarized media air cleaners. So those are an option. So we see those in some of these high-end houses. So we have a lot of builders that we know that don't even do duct cleaning at all. So it fills up with all this drywall dust and sawdust, and then they take a shop vac and, clean it out. But as you know, when you install a furnace, you've got to test run that thing. And so if the whole place isn't clean when you test run it, it's going to pull a little bit of particulate through the system, and it's going to accumulate and it just naturally accumulates in the ductwork. If you've ever been on a new home building project, like, there's dust everywhere.
Yeah, I totally agree. After new construction, the duct should be cleaned. Like, I've heard stories of like guys throwing their garbage up into the ducts, and you know what I mean? And who knows what's in there, because people are savages. I've heard stories of like people like in the basements leaving buckets that they're peeing in, you know what I mean? Or taking a crap. And I've heard all kinds of crazy stories on brand new construction sites, but the ducts should be cleaned before you hand over to that homeowner that's buying it, because they're probably filthy inside from all the dust and drywall and cutting drywall. If it's brick, stone you're cutting, I mean, that stuff's not good to breathe. So I totally agree. Clean the ducts before you hand them over on new construction, 100%.
We work with a lot of builders that do it. And then there's just some high volume ones that just, they don't. And then their response to us is, we leave that up to the homeowner. And so it's just like, as a consumer, if they didn't give you an option to upgrade your filtration, it's like, talk to your HVAC guy and say, hey, how much would it cost me? Or is number one, they need to your point, they need to figure out if their furnace can handle a MERV 13 or a MERV 13 or 11, whatever, filter. But then they can do the same thing on the duct cleaning. Like, were these ducts cleaned? Or just open up a register and look, and you'll see that they're not. And then just, spend a couple $100 and get it done.
The name of your company, what is it? Just if anybody local, because Richard is, for anybody that's listening from the Toronto area, Southern Ontario area, that's where Richard's located. So what's the name of your company if someone wants to reach out to you?
It's Modern PURAIR, PURAIR.
Awesome. And you do commercial and residential.
The commercial stuff's just a little bit more frequent, right? Higher traffic buildings bring in more dust. The doors are opening a lot more so they need more frequent attention. We do a lot of condo work, like dryer vents, which is a fire safety thing. And then, we do a lot of residential work as well. So really, anybody that's got a ducted system eventually needs to get it cleaned.
So can I tell you, before we head out, I have a meeting in about 5 minutes, but before we head out, I want to tell you my biggest beef with the duct cleaning industry, because it's almost every night at dinner, I get a phone call from somewhere overseas. You know as soon as you answer, because there's a delay of like 3 seconds, and then someone says they're going to be in the area tomorrow for air duct cleaning. Would I like to book a visit? And it's like almost every night at dinner. That's my biggest beef with the air duct cleaning industry. And then I go outside the next day, and there's no duct cleaning trucks in my area. Like, who are these people, and why are they lying to me?
Can I tell you why I love those guys?
Why?
Because they call us, they call me, they call my business, they call my technicians, and we own a duct cleaning business.
Yeah.
And so, but what I like about it is that, I mean, I don't like anything about it, but it benefits me in a way because it reminds you that maybe you should get your ducts cleaned. Don't call that guy, that's a scam. Right. But we often will get that. We will get guys that actually use them. They're like, oh, we're in the area. It's going to be $100 to come and clean your whole system. Right. And it doesn't matter how many vents you have. And so it's a scam. And those guys create more harm than they do good. And part of it actually is they'll push all the dust and debris down into your furnace, and then they'll say it's $500 to clean your furnace. But what ends up happening is people who haven't had it done in a while, it kind of has you top of mind. Then they look up a reputable business. So that's a little positive spin I got on it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Richard, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thanks.